Alright folks, as you can see I'm on a different thing. I downloaded Camtasia myself because I know that Ace uses this. Am I copying him at all? Absolutely not. I'm just doing this for my own entertainment. I was using my tablet at first, but I figured I'd try something different. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be doing another case in Elite mode. This is a surprise. I'm going to be doing a case in the World Edition in Elite mode. Ranger Matthew, this is a disaster. Sombra's not only finished building their satellite, but we now know that they intend to launch it from the Cosmos facility in Kazakhstan. I still haven't been able to reach Natasha to let her know that the Cosmos facilities have been infiltrated by Sombra, but no matter. Elliot has managed to override Cosmos' security systems to give you clearance, so nobody will stop you from entering the launch site. We cannot let Operation Darkness Descends go a step further. You must get to the Cosmos site and stop that launch. Keep in mind that anyone you come across may be working for Sombra. Trust no one, except Archer, of course. He'll be your partner for the mission. Thanks for the vote of confidence, Chief Ripley. If that satellite goes into orbit, Sombra will take over all other satellites and civilization as you know it will end. Now get to that launch site. There's no time to lose. How did you Bureau idiots get in here? This is a restricted area. The Bureau has its ways, Miss Romanova, especially when the safety of the world is at stake. Safety of the world? What are you talking about? Sombra's satellite is here in the Cosmos launch site, Miss Romanova, and if it launches, Sombra will take over all active satellites, which means they can take over the world. You're throwing your wild accusations around again. Sombra can't have infiltrated Cosmos. They did compromise Cosmos, and we have proof. Ranger Matthew found counterfeit swipe cards at Sombra's hidden satellite factory in Mongolia. Sombra agents are probably setting up the launch right now. You must get us to the launch control room so Ranger Matthew can stop this. I guess even if only half of what you say is true, we cannot take any chances. Please, Ranger Matthew, follow me to the launch control room. Only this time, I'm not trying to I am just kind of taking a little page out of Ace's book, but I am not copying him. I am just kind of doing my own thing. But I'm just doing it for my own entertainment. So if anybody thinks that I am doing the same thing as he is, the answer is no, I am not doing that. But unfortunately, instead of having to deal with the faulty computer that changes screen resolutions all the time, I figured I'd better take another alternative. So I am not copying Ace, I am just doing this for my own entertainment, for my own amusement. Fix his body. Ugh. Thought that was the torn. 10,000 coins. Cool. Phew! The rocket's still here. Well, good news is that the satellite hasn't been launched. But the bad news is that we have another dead body on our hands. Bozemoy! Ranger Matthew, that dead man, that's Vitaly Borodin. Borodin's one of the most powerful senators in Russia. He's the head of the Security and Defense Committee in the Federation Council. I didn't even know he was coming here. So the senator came here without anyone knowing? I agree, Matthew, that sounds dodgy. Borodin must have walked in on the Sombra agent who was supposed to press that button. That would explain why the satellite hasn't been launched. And I must go take measures to be sure that the rocket stays on the ground, if you'll excuse me. Glad to know Natasha's back on our side. Good point, Matthew. Maybe whatever is etched onto the victim's forehead can tell us who the killer was. Matthew, have you found any more clues? Those pieces of paper look like a torn photo. You'll piece them all back together, I'm sure. And what is that plastic device? Looks like one of my old school handheld games, except there's blood on it. And it looks like there's some text, is missing. You'll need your Justin kit. We'll need to ask Miss Romanova how something like this could happen at the Cosmos launch site. Alright, I'm gonna have to grab some stars, so for now, sit tight, folks. It'll just be a few minutes. Alright, I got myself 8 stars. Now let's see. I'm just gonna examine the torn photo right now. I know it's a little bit hard because I'm doing this on a laptop, but I'm gonna do what I can. Got it. So that photo you found at the crime scene was just a selfie of the victim? How does that help us? You're right, we could retrace his steps, but where the heck did he take this selfie? Ah, mes amis, it is really quite simple. There's only one place in the world where this photo could have been taken, Baytarek Tower. Dude, DuPont, how can you know where this photo was taken? You see the globe in the corner? It's at the top of a tower. The tower was built to commemorate Kazakhstan's independence in 1997. It symbolizes a giant tree of life with an egg perched in the branches and... Thanks, DuPont. You can fill us in on the other details later. Right now, we need to skedaddle to Baytarek Tower and look for clues about the victim's activities. Let's talk to Natasha Romanova now. So, Miss Romanova, you're absolutely certain that this rocket is grounded? Its payload is staying right here on Earth? We can't take any chances. You have my promise, Ranger Matthew. No rocket is going anywhere, especially as Sombra could have tampered with it. Excellent. But Ranger Matthew still has a few questions about Vitaly Borodin. What was he doing here? Your guess is as good as mine, but I can tell you he wasn't invited. The last thing this place needs is the politician sticking his nose where it doesn't belong. He probably wanted to bug me about that stupid law he wants to pass. Borodin wanted to use Cosmos to spy on everyone from space. That makes sense since he's the head of the Security and Defense Committee, but I take it you weren't in favor of the law? Of course! I don't approve of the law. We are a serious scientific organization, not some fancy-pants closed-circuit security system for the government to spy on its citizens. Well, Vitaly Borodin has ceased to be a problem for Cosmos now, Miss Romanova. Thanks for your help, and please keep an eye on that rocket. Plastic device. So what's written on that plastic device that you found near the body? It's all in Cyrillic. Let's get this hunk of plastic to DuPont so he can tell us what it says. "6 hours. But anyways, people, this is my surprise. I am doing a case in the World Edition in Elite mode. I've already done 8 cases in Grimsboro and Pacific Bay in Elite mode. So, I think it's time I give the World Edition some love. Protest sign. There's the helmet. Something on my nose right here. Did you find any clues around the tower, Matthew? A security badge for a physics conference? The woman looks vaguely familiar. Maybe you can find a match in the database. And get a load of this protest sign. Someone thinks our victim was public enemy #1. I don't see any other protest stuff around here. Seems like this was a one-person demonstration. Matthew, if you can collect a sample of the yellow powder on the protest sign, maybe we'll figure out who the anti-Burlington faction is. I'm gonna grab some stars first, so sit tight. Alright, I got myself 10 stars. That should be enough. Let's examine the protest sign. There we are. Did you manage to get a sample of that yellow powder from the protest sign? You're right, you could totally take a look at it under the microscope. See my favorite sports anchor in the background. Pollen. So what was in that yellow powder you collected from the sign? Rose pollen? You know someone who likes protesting and fresh roses? That's pretty specific. Who are you thinking of? She's a civil liberties protester called Agrafena Raskolnikova, huh? And she's already been suspected of murder twice? Well, this Agrafena's clearly not a fan of our victim. We better go ask her, Matthew. You subtract the A from this, you'll get Raskolnikov for one of the characters in Dostoevsky's novel, Crime and Punishment, I believe. Yes, it was Crime and Punishment. It is Crime and Punishment. So let's talk to Raskolnikova. So, Miss Raskolnikova, we found your protest sign. Care to tell us why you consider Vitaly Borodin to be public enemy #1? What do you care? Besides, Matthew already knows why. Remember the law I told you about, Ranger Matthew? The one that would allow the government to spy on Russian citizens? Borodin is behind it. Vitaly Borodin is one of the senators drafting the bill to crush civil liberties in Russia to nothing. Russia launches satellites from Kazakhstan, so I figured Borodin would come here sooner or later. I wanted to confront him about his horrible civil liberties record and cut him down to size. Cut him down to size, huh? Interesting choice of words. Borodin was murdered. Well, you're not going to see me shed a tear for him. But I've told you before, Ranger Matthew, I'm not the kind of person who resorts to murder. We'll let the evidence decide what kind of person you are, Miss Raskolnikova. Stick around, Kazakhstan. We're not done with you yet. I think that's the second one I've seen. Security badge. Anya Ivanova. So Matthew, you found a match for the photo on the physics conference security badge you found near Bay Turret Tower? The woman on that badge is actually Anya Ivanova, the MGB agent? The last time we saw her was in Mongolia. She was trying to track down Sombra to get back in the good books at the MGB. But the MGB called her back to Moscow. So what is she doing here? And why has she disguised herself? Could this be a cover? Well, if she came here to protect the senator, she didn't do a very good job. Looks like Anya Ivanova has some explaining to do. About her presence in Kazakhstan? Hold it right there, Ranger Matthew. You have something of mine. I know it. Anya Ivanova, looking for your badge? But where did your disguise go? Are you off duty? According to your badge, you're running security for the physics conference here. Is this a side job or... No, it's a full-time job. I have left the MGB and started my own security business. Left? You mean you weren't fired for going rogue in Mongolia? And you needed to disguise yourself to start a business? Yeah, right. You know, Ranger Matthew has a little theory that you were here to protect Senator Vitaly Borodin. Who's he? Never heard of him. Look, just give me back my badge and we can stop wasting each other's time. Ah, Miss Ivanova, whenever I look at you, I see red flags. We're going to hold on to your badge a while longer. First time using Camtasia on this computer, as I downloaded it from the internet. So for now, I'm going to let these two run their courses. So for now, this is Matthew. See you then. Alright folks, I let this thing run its course, and once again, I am not copying Ace. I am not doing anything of the sorts, just so everybody knows. I'm just doing this for my own entertainment. I heard Ace does this on Camtasia, so I've been doing this with the tablet. And since I heard that he had gotten in touch with some of the other people who are creators of this game, I'm hoping to possibly do the same thing, because they created a character based off of him, Jack Archer, of course. So hopefully, they might happen to see me, because I like to have the same thing happen to me. Anyway, let's find out about the autopsy. Hey Matthew, so you got there before Sombra could launch their satellite. Good job. Yep, that rocket's not going to space anytime soon. Unfortunately, the late Vitaly Borodin can't tell us anything about who tried to launch that rocket. Well, the senator did tell us something about his murder. His throat was slashed with some kind of laser. It makes sense. Cosmonauts often use laser torches to weld aluminum and other light metals in space. The laser was also used to write that Russian word on the victim's forehead. And what is that word anyway? I asked Marina what the word zloy meant. It's the Russian adjective for evil. You're right, Matthew. The killer's etching makes quite a statement about the victim. Maybe they had issues in the past? That may be, but in doing so, the killer left traces of a mutton and noodle dish on the victim. The sauce proved that it was the national dish of Kazakhstan, beshbarmak. So the killer eats beshbarmak. Looks like we got to start to solving this case, Matthew. Try to say that 10 times fast. I know I got a pretty good tongue from watching so much Jeopardy. And I know quite a bit about this and that. I think Facebook might be a little slow today. Writing on the device. So bear with me, folks. There we are. Matthew, the plastic device you brought me says Fletcherus on it. I looked through all my dictionaries and could not find an entry. Oh, that's a nice play on words. That's really Tetris. Given the blood, I thought I should inform Lars about it, and I came running. I cannot believe that someone got blood all over their Fletcherus game. Fletcherus is a classic. You know, it's the game where you fit geometrical shapes together to build a stack of them as fast as you possibly can. It was invented by a Russian. Anyway, while the blood on the game was the victim's, the shape of the stain makes me think the killer touched the game after the murder. We're lucky the killer didn't take the game with them. So the killer plays Fletcherus. I've heard that video games can lead to violence, but this is overkill. Well, when Matthew catches the killer, it'll be game over. Matthew, let's be absolutely clear. You're sure that no satellite will leave the Cosmos launch site? Well, Natasha Romanova has promised us that the rocket will not launch and the satellite will stay grounded. We had better jolly well make sure that's the case. Operation Darkness Descends must be stopped, Ranger Matthew. Given where Borelden was killed, he probably interrupted a Sombra agent there to launch the satellite. So we can only be absolutely sure that the satellite will stay grounded once you find the killer, Matthew. You must get back to that launch site to find more clues. Good luck with that. Natasha Romanova has just placed the entire launch site on lockdown, and Elliot's security hack stopped working. We can't get back in. Uh-oh. We're going to have to unlock this mystery in Chapter 2, so sit tight, folks. Alright, folks, we're back. Let's start Chapter 2 of World Edition, Case 18 in Elite Mode, Countdown to Murder. Natasha Romanova just placed the entire launch site on lockdown, and Elliot's security hack stopped working. Only Cosmos personnel are allowed in or out. Great. Natasha must think that locking down the site will keep Sombra from launching the satellite. But for all we know, the Sombra agent is still inside the facility. There's little doubt the agent killed Senator Borelden in the launching room. He probably got in their way. The good news is it kept them from launching the satellite, but if we don't catch them soon, they might try again. But if Natasha thinks the lockdown will stop Matthew from getting back there and continuing the investigation, she's got another thing coming. Matthew, I think I know just the way to infiltrate the facility. Just give me a few seconds. Okay then. And once again, I want to say, folks, that I am not trying to copy Ace, pitching Ace 88. I am just merely doing this for my own entertainment. Not trying to be a copycat or anything. Just trying to do this for my own entertainment. I heard he does this too. Plus the fact that I've been doing this on just been filming these on a tablet just kind of makes me, this kind of isn't giving me much views, so I figured I'd try as an experiment, see if that works better for me, even though I'm using a free trial here. Check me out, Matthew, I'm a cosmonaut. We'll use these suits to disguise ourselves so we can sneak past the guards at the launch site. Don't worry, the visors will completely hide our faces. No one will know it's us. They'll just think we're Cosmos personnel. When we want to hide our faces, we can make the visor go down. And when we don't want to hide, we can keep the visors up. With these cosmonaut disguises, we'll be able to come and go from the launch site as we please. So where should we start? Good point, Matthew. The killer had to go to the cosmonaut training room to get to the control area. Let's go check it out. Just as a precaution, I'm going to put the hints on. There we go. I know that took a while. So just bear with me, folks. Once again, I am not copying Ace or pitching Ace 88. I am just doing this for my own entertainment and just taking a trying a bit of an experiment here. Torn picture. $10,000 more. Nice. See? Nobody stopped us. These cosmonaut disguises fooled the launch site guards perfectly. So any clues in the training room, Matthew? A metal case? Well, if you think there's a clue in there, dig in. What's this torn paper doing here? If you piece it together, I'm sure we'll get the full picture. What about this shiny pouch? It has the Cosmos logo on it. It also says freeze-dried Beshbarmak. Oh right, that must be the freeze-dried food cosmonauts eat in space. And you're right, Matthew, we know the killer eats Beshbarmak. It seems there was something more written on the pouch label. I'll grab your dusting kit. I need a lot of cards here, folks, so hopefully some people will oblige. You know what, I got 16 stars, so I might as well do it now. Let's examine the gray pouch. I know I'm doing this on a laptop, which may make things a little bit difficult. Uh-oh. Hope this works. There we are. Tereshkova, Yelena Tereshkova. Kind of a parody from Valentina Tereshkova, the Russian who went into space. So what does the label on the Beshbarmak pouch say? Tereshkova Yelena and first space mission. Yelena Tereshkova? Isn't she that frustrated cosmonaut we met in Siberia? The one who's been held back from going into space? You're right, Matthew. We also saw her in Mongolia and she was still talking about being rejected by Cosmos. I guess Miss Tereshkova will be going on a mission after all. So what changed to make this happen? To make that happen? Good point, Matthew. The pouch shows that Miss Tereshkova eats beshbarmak, just like the killer. Looks like it's time to lower our visors. We'll see what Yelena Tereshkova says to us when she thinks we're her fellow cosmonauts. About our trip to space. Greetings, Cosmonaut Tereshkova. Excited about your first trip to space? Very much, yes. I wait for this day since I was a little girl. Do you think the mission will still go through with the senator being murdered? I hope so. I will watch the sun rise over the Earth from space. So you don't care at all that someone was murdered? I know. Someone was murdered. That's why we have lockdown. Now where's my list for packing? I need to take my Fletcher scheme. That went pretty well. Torn picture. Wow, Matthew, that torn paper you pieced together is an autographed photo of Yuri Gagarin, the first man in space? This has to be worth a fortune. Who would let such a treasure get destroyed? It's signed to, let's see, the H-looking letter is an N to us. The backwards N sounds like EE. It looks like Yuri Gagarin signed this autograph for someone named Nikolai, followed by the Russian letter that sounds like SH. Wait, could that name be Nikolai Sharapov, the cosmonaut scientist? Guess he's not in Siberia anymore. Seems like all our former Cosmos suspects are suspects once again. We better go talk to Nikolai. About his presence at the launch site. Long time no see, Nikolai. Ranger, Matthew, where did you get those suits? They are not regulation. How did you even get in here? Why are you here? You know nothing can stop Ranger Matthew from investigating a murder. Vitaly Borodin was killed right here at the launch site. Vitaly Borodin was here and he's dead? This is a tragedy. Borodin was the man Russia needed to keep her safe. He had a brilliant plan to use satellites to improve the country's security. Some people thought it would be like Stalin all over again, but Borodin had the best interests of Russia at heart. Who would have killed him? That's just what we're trying to figure out, Dr. Sharapov, and we may have more questions for you, so stay close. There we are. A laser torch. I know that the laptop makes it a lot harder. What did you find in that big metal case, Matthew? What the heck is this thing? Whoa, that thing's a laser. Matthew, didn't Angela say the victim's throat has been slashed with a laser? This laser could be the murder weapon. We better sneak out of here and get this laser to Lars. Okay, 24 hours. I'll get the results tomorrow morning. So for now, this is Matthew. See you then. Okay, folks, we're back. Let's get the results of the laser torch from Lars. Hey, Matthew, I got great news, but I'm going to step to the side and let my lovely wife tell you. So I did some tests with that laser torch you found in the training room, and it's definitely the murder weapon. This torch is not just a super concentrated heat source for laser welding. The killer modified it to make it a laser cutter as well. The fact that the torch was modified proves intent to kill. And converting this laser welding torch to a laser cutter means the killer has a serious knowledge of physics. So we have a killer with physics knowledge. Well, Matthew will make sure that they don't achieve escape velocity. I can take a little criticism, but please do not say that I'm copying Ace, because I'm really not doing that. Besides, I don't have that window that he has open with all his comments. The only thing I have open is Camtasia and my webcam. That's it. So I know the killer has mad physics skills. Hey, wasn't there a physics conference at Bayturek Tower? The killer could be part of it. I'll follow your lead, Matthew. Let's get back to Bayturek Tower. Okay, let's see here. Plastic box. Accordion. Accordion. Where the heck is that thing? Oh, there it is, right on top. Kind of relearning the ropes here, folks, so please bear with me. This black plastic looks like a credit card, but it has a lock screen. I'm sure you'll crack it in no time. And what's this box? If you think something important might be hiding in it, rummage away. I'm gonna do it right now. B73. Easy 6. There we are. Great, you unlocked that fancy device. You're right, Matthew, it looks like a map of some kind. We better get this thing to Elliot right away. 24 hours, so I'll get this thing tomorrow. Well, let's examine this box here, see what we get. Aha! A receipt. Anything in that box? Just a receipt from a restaurant? Big whoop. Oh wait, you're right. That's the victim's signature. What did he write? The security committee is watching you, Agrafena. Looks like Miss Raskolnikova might have had her confrontation with the victim after all. We better ask her about this. About the victim's message? So, Agrafena Raskolnikova, according to this receipt Ranger Matthew found, Vitaly Borodin's committee considered you to be a security threat? But I threw that receipt away. I guess my protests against his government spying bill were working. I saw him at a restaurant near the tower. Borodin came by my table and slipped me this note. Then he wished me a pleasant stay and walked away. When I read his note, I knew I was right about the government's plans for the satellite. Why else would he be in Kazakhstan? And why else would he threaten me? The encounter was so upsetting, though I couldn't finish my Beshbarmak. Let's hope your encounter with the victim didn't give you an appetite for murder, Miss Raskolnikova. Again, I can't help but think of Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment when you dock the A. Alright, so for now, this is Matthew. See you then, and when this thing runs its course. Strange device. See you all later. Alright folks, we're back. Let's get the results of the strange device. Matthew, I feel so spoiled when I analyze clues like this. This card you found near Bayturek Tower was actually a GPS system. It's pretty intense technology. When I delved into it, I found that it had tracked the victim from his flat in Moscow to right here in Kazakhstan. I'd heard of these cards being used by the MGB, but I'd never seen one. So the MGB uses these cards? Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Matthew? I'm with you. Anya Ivanova claims to be ex-MGB, yet we find this fancy spy tech tracking the victim right to where she's providing security. I agree. It might be more than a coincidence, Matthew. I reviewed Anya Ivanova's dossier. And before Miss Ivanova started training for the MGB, she was studying physics at university. Physics, huh? Just like the killer. We better go see what Anya Ivanova can tell us about why she was tracking Vitaly Borodin. About tracking the victim. Miss Ivanova, Ranger Matthew found the GPS card you used to track Vitaly Borodin to Kazakhstan. Care to comment on this MGB technology? I should have known you'd find it, Ranger Matthew. You're like a bloodhound, but so am I. I didn't trust Borodin at all. I needed to keep tabs on him. It's because of people like Borodin that the MGB has gone to the dogs. Borodin bought a seat as head of the security committee. He had his own agenda for the MGB. He wanted to substitute a satellite for good police work. So I tracked him down here to see how far he was going to go in his destruction of the MGB. I ate cold Beshbarmak for days while on my stakeout. When he stayed put, I played Fletchers to keep my sanity. But he was too good. I lost track of him. I find it hard to believe you lost track of him with that GPS card you had. You better bet that Ranger Matthew won't lose track of you. So far, Cosmos has kept its word about not launching that satellite. But we won't be safe until we've caught the Somber agent who killed Borodin. Agrafena Raskolnikova thought the satellite would be used to spy on citizens. Did she kill the senator to prevent the launch? Anya Ivanova lied to us about why she was in Kazakhstan. She tracked the victim down. And what if it's an inside job? Could Nikolai Sharapov secretly be a part of Operation Darkness Descends? Yet he had nothing but praise for the victim. Matthew, there's been an explosion at the Cosmos Training Center. Lockdown has been lifted. They need our help. Uh-oh. We gotta unravel this in Chapter 3. Sit tight, folks. You don't want to miss this. Alright, folks, it's Matthew. We are back. Let's start Chapter 3, of Countdown to Murder. So far, Cosmos has kept its word about not launching that satellite. But it won't be safe until we've caught the Somber agent who killed Borodin. Matthew, there's been an explosion at the Cosmos Training Center. Lockdown has been lifted. They need our help. Good point, Matthew. This explosion could be the Somber agent trying to create a diversion to launch the satellite. We better get to the training center. Personally, I'm hoping not many people will, be bashing me for this, but I am doing this just for my own entertainment. I'm not trying to copy Ace, even though he does the same thing. Torn magazine. This explosion doesn't seem to have damaged anything. The security camera seems to be in working order. Think you can unlock it? And this is torn paper. If you piece it together, we might get information that can get us closer to the killer. Go for it. Oi, oi, oi. Dr. Sharapov, are you alright? Of course I'm not alright. My plan didn't work. My explosion went up in smoke, so to speak. You caused the explosion? And you wanted it to be bigger? Take a seat, Dr. Sharapov. Ranger Matthew has some questions for you. Well, let's interrogate Sharapov about this first. Dr. Sharapov, what in the world were you thinking setting off an explosion? You could have destroyed evidence or killed yourself. Who cares? I want this launch stopped permanently. If the satellite mission failed before leaving the ground, Cosmos would have to allocate more money to my research. Cosmos puts too much money into satellite projects and not enough money into human space exploration. When I was 5 years old, Yuri Gagarin told me to reach for the stars. I have dedicated my whole life to sending humans further and further into space. But here at Cosmos, all my years of scientific studies in biology, chemistry, and physics are just going to waste. I tried once already to sabotage the satellite mission, but Borodin saw me and started asking me questions about the facilities. I had to abort my plan. But with him gone and the whole site on lockdown, I saw a chance to sabotage the mission permanently without being interrupted. Maybe you remove the obstacle of Borodin yourself? It seems you'd do anything to get your research money. Don't go anywhere, Nikolai. You're not off the hook yet. Actually, he is, because he doesn't fit the other two criteria. AQ. Yeah. Woo. Looks like you got the security camera locked. No doubt Elliot can get to the contents. Let's rush it to him. Torn magazine now. Hey, this magazine cover shows the victim shaking hands with some other politician. Wait a minute, there's something written on it. Take care of Borodin, and it's signed by someone called NR. You're right, Matthew. The only NR we know about in Cosmos is Natasha Romanova. And Natasha wanted someone to take care of Borodin. In our line of work, we know what that usually means, don't we, Matthew? I just can't wrap my head around it. Could Marina have been right about her mother all along? What if Natasha wanted Borodin dead? Let's go grill Natasha about this message. Here's hoping she won't lock herself down. About her message. Ranger Matthew, have you figured out who tried to sabotage our facilities? There must be a rogue agent in Cosmorus. Oh, so you believe us now. The somber satellite on your rocket wasn't enough, huh? After playing a little Fletcher's to relax, the pieces started falling into place. I realized that you must be right. Well, maybe you can tell us if we're right about something else. Ranger Matthew found a message you wrote. Something about taking care of Borodin? Oh my, I know what that must look like. But you must understand, it wasn't about getting him killed. Borodin didn't trust me. He wanted to replace me as head of Cosmorus, and as the lead senator in the Security and Defense Committee, he could. Luckily, I still have many friends in the Federation Council who have my back. I plan to ask one of them to lean on Borodin, persuade him to keep me. Now let's let bygones be bygones, Ranger Matthew. We can grab some Beshbarmak at this little restaurant I know and try to uncover who this rogue agent might be. Uh-huh. Nice try, Miss Romanova. Stick around. We'll be meeting again. Alright, security camera will run its course, and I'll see you for that. Alright, folks, we're back. I'm going to speed up the security camera. Well, Matthew, that security camera from the training center had some interesting footage. Looks like one of your suspects got into a scientific discussion with Vitaly Borodin. Take a look. What are you doing here? This is a restricted area. Who are you? I'm Yevgeny Nudnikov. I'm the new Cosmos physicist. Is that a fact? Okay, then what's Newton's third law of motion? All forces between two objects are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction? Correct. Question 2. The rest of the footage was destroyed. To be honest, I'm relieved it cut off there. Agreed, especially since we have all we need to know, don't we, Matthew? Vitaly Borodin was clearly not visiting Cosmos on official security committee business. He even tried to conceal his identity. Did Yelena Tereshkova discover Borodin wasn't who he pretended to be? We'd better go ask her. Got our confrontation. Miss Tereshkova, turns out you met a very important person recently here in the training room, and it got caught on video. Important? I only met the new physicist, Yevgeny Nudnikov. At first my alarm bells rang. But I gave him the same physics test Natasha Romanova gave me. He answered all questions in correct fashion. He seemed, how to say, legit. He asked directions to the control room, so I took him there. After that I went back to my post and didn't see him again. So a virtual stranger asked you to take him to the launch control room and you took him? You're either very dim or very clever, Miss Tereshkova. I hope for your sake it's the former. Ranger Matthew always gets to the truth. Matthew, I'm starting to think Marina was right. I trust Natasha Romanova less and less each time we talk to her. Anya Ivanova claims she was tracking the victim to protect the MGB, but what if she's gone rogue again? And Nikolai Sharapov has a more dangerous side, it seems. He tried to sabotage the satellite mission multiple times. Would he resort to murder? Speaking of the satellite mission, we better solve this case so we can give all our attention to keeping the Sombra satellite on the ground permanently. Oops. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Sorry guys, there was a problem and my window reduced, and then I must have clicked the back button by accident. I don't know. But okay, folks. So I can't view that thing again. Darn it. But I gotta lead the way to the launch control. There we are. So sorry about that, guys. You'll see it. You can see what happened on the first time I did this case. That briefcase you found. Let me check. That thing looks like a 6 is a... That thing that looks like a 6 is a B. The O is an O. Wow, Mouthy, the plaque says Borodin. That's the victim's briefcase. There's bound to be something in there. And what's written on this newspaper? You're right. Someone wrote the same Russian word that was on the victim's forehead. The paper's covered in weird red crystals. Think you can vacuum them up fast enough for a sample? We're getting close, Mouthy. The killer doesn't stand a chance. Okay, let's do this. There we are. What chain? Awesome, Matthew. You got those crystals off the newspaper. And looky there. The victim's photo was underneath them. There's no doubt the killer handled these crystals now. Let's get them to Lars on the double. $18 hours, and I'm planning to speed these up because I did just make a purchase for $230 cash. There we are, camera. Boy, did that take a long time. You found an old camera in the victim's briefcase? This could give us the evidence we need to close the case. Let's rush it to Elliot. $30 hours. I'm going to start it right now. So for now, this is Matthew, and I'll see you when these two run their courses. See y'all later. Alright folks, we're back. Let's get the results of the red crystals. I'm going to speed up the camera after that. Man, you struck gold with these crystals, Matthew. Well, not gold exactly. Come on, bro, spit it out. Just tell us what those crystals are. These are ND YAG crystals. They are man-made and used to amplify energy emissions in laser technology. The killer used these crystals to alter the laser torch's intensity and turn it into a laser cutter. And when they touched the crystals, they transferred adhesive from a freshly applied bandage. So the killer is wearing a bandage, huh? Well, this murder charge will stick to them like glue, too, when Matthew books them. I'm gonna speed this up. Okay, so even though the spy camera you found in the victim's briefcase wasn't as high-tech as that GPS tracker, it's still pretty brilliant as a historical object. Wait, a spy camera? So Borelden was spying on Cosmorus. What did the film show? Not sure where the victim got the camera, but it was old, so a lot of the film was overexposed. However, the last shot Borelden snapped came through, and it's a case changer. At first I thought that the blob was damaged film, but right next to it I saw a Cosmorus badge. I realized that the blob was light from the laser used to kill Vitaly Borelden, which means Borelden snapped a picture of his killer. So the killer wears a Cosmorus badge. I knew this had to be an inside job. We've got them now, Matthew. Matthew, we've got the killer in our sight. Let's go ground them definitely with a stellar arrest. It is not Natasha Romanova. It's not Agrafena Raskolnikova. It is not Anya Ivanova. It is Yelena Tereshkova. Yelena Tereshkova, Ranger Matthews arresting you for the murder of Vitaly Borelden. Shto? But I did not even know this man. Why would I kill him? That's for you to tell us, Yelena. Why would you use your physics skills to change a laser welding torch to a laser cutter? But that's a skill any self-respecting cosmonaut would need for repairs in space. And I suppose you'd claim that the victim took a picture of some other Cosmorus employee right before he died? It was Natasha Romanova. She killed Borelden. No, it wasn't. We know because you handled Nd:YAG crystals to turn the torch into a weapon and you left some adhesive from your bandage on them. But I'm serious. It was Natasha. She told me that if I killed Borelden, I'd finally go to space. And what did the victim have to do with you going to space? Natasha told me that it was Borelden who blocked my applications. He had the power. He was the head of security and defense committee. Say we believe you. What does any of this have to do with the Sombra satellite? A satellite? What are you talking about? Whoa. Why is the floor shaking? Oh crap. Matthew, what the heck was that? It came from the launch control room. Good idea, go check it out. I'll cuff Yelena here and catch up. You're too late, Matthew. The rocket's launched, and there's nothing you can do about it. Natasha, you launched the rocket? How could you? That's for me to know and for you to find out. I would say dos vidania, Ranger Matthew, but since you'll never catch me, I'll never see you again. Damn it, Matthew, she got away. Maybe I should have taken that shot, but getting Natasha alive could be our only chance to know what's really going on here. What are we going to do, Matthew? This is a disaster. The rocket's launched, the satellite's gone. How can we stop Sombra now? You're right, panicking will solve nothing. I'll go after Natasha while you tell Chief Ripley about all this and come up with a plan. Yelena's trial will have to wait. Yes, it will. Nikolai Sharapov was cleared from the start. Natasha Romanova, no bandage. Agrafena Raskolnikova, 3 things don't fit with her. No physics, no Fletcherus, no Cosmos badge. No Cosmos badge for Anya Ivanova. It was Yelena Tereshkova. So I'll see you guys for when we do Darkness Descent 6. Okay folks, we're back. Let's go to Darkness Descent 6. So let me get this straight, Matthew. You caught the killer, but the rocket was launched. Sombra's satellite is on its way to orbit, and Natasha Romanova is on the run? This satellite never should have launched on the Bureau's watch. How could we let Natasha Romanova string us along this whole time? I knew my mother was corrupt. I hate to say I told you so, but this is no time to gloat, Marina. The Sombra satellite is headed into orbit. If that satellite activates, it will take control of all the other satellites and give Sombra power over the world. Matthew, I'm tweaking my Cosmos security hack to follow the satellite, but since its motherboard was hijacked by Sombra, I'm having a lot of trouble. Natasha has the information we need. Jack's after her, but we need answers now. Good show, Matthew. Yelena Tereshkova will divulge what she knows about Natasha's actions. Bring her in. I shall assist in the interrogation. About helping with Sombra? Miss Tereshkova, we require your assistance in an extremely troubling matter. If I help, I will see stars. My cell window is too high. I see nothing. You are the author of your current predicament, Miss Tereshkova. However, the judge may be more lenient in your trial if you provide any information you have concerning Natasha Romanova and Sombra. Evil Natasha. She told me kill Borodin, then push launch button. I asked her why. She say I don't need to know. Do you have any idea where Natasha could be? Did she ever mention Sombra? Please, I don't know where Natasha is. I don't know this Sombra. The only person I ever hear to talk about Sombra was Nikolai Sharapov. This makes no sense. Nikolai Sharapov was trying to sabotage a satellite mission. All I'm saying is sometimes when he thinks he is alone, he types on tablet, mumbles to self, he says Sombra eat my... Very interesting indeed, Miss Tereshkova. We must question Nikolai Sharapov about this, Ranger Matthew. Please, do not forget my request to see my stars. Please take my Cosmos coverall to remember, Ranger Matthew. So Yelena has no idea where Natasha is, but she claims Nikolai Sharapov has been typing something about Sombra on a tablet. Matthew, you must get back to the training center and find that tablet. I'd like to come along for that, if you don't mind. If he pops up, maybe I can persuade Sharapov to cooperate. See you at the training center, Matthew. Meanwhile, Archer is out in the field. We must help him track down and arrest Natasha Romanova. Sign me up. I want to help you and Jack track down my mother, Matthew. Join me in the launch control room when you can, and we'll retrace her steps. One moment. Okay, I got that thing figured out. I don't know why this thing keeps going on. I don't know why this thing does this. I think it's probably just the game itself and not something wrong with my computer. Lock tablet. Aha, there you are. found a tablet. Here's hoping it's Nikolai's and that you can unlock it as quickly as you usually do. I'm willing to bet it is him. GQK. Way to unlock that tablet, Matthew, and it has the Cosmos logo on the unlock screen. Good call. Elliot will be able to get any information we need from it. Let's rush this tablet to him. Hours. I'll get the results tomorrow morning. And let's investigate the launch console. And this guy's a personal friend of mine. So I'm going to use him. Key, computer mouse, glasses. Broken phone. Good point, Matthew. Agents often destroy any way to track them, and my mother would be no exception. This broken cell phone could be my mother's. I hope he can put it back together quickly. Great, you pieced the cell phone together in no time. Normally we send it to Elliot, I know, but he's busy hacking into Sombra's satellite. Never fear, if this phone is my mother's, I'll be able to crack her files in a flash. I'll meet you back at the lab. In case you might be wondering why I'm looking away, it's also my local news. But you know what? I'm not gonna have to worry about looking away anymore because I gotta let this run its course too. So for now, this is Matthew. See you then. Okay, folks, it's Matthew. We're back. Let's get the results of the locked tablet. Well, Matthew, this tablet belonged to Nikolai Sharapov, all right. Sharapov has some serious programming skills. He was working on code that would create a backdoor to override the satellite, but there's a huge chunk missing. I've done that before. It's an ego thing. He wanted to be sure that he was the only person who could override that satellite. So if we find Nikolai Sharapov and get the rest of this code, you'll be able to take over Sombra's satellite? Considering the alternative, we've got to try. Then we better get back to that launch site, find that rat, and make him talk. And now let's persuade Nikolai. Nikolai, come out to play. We know you're in here, and we have your tablet. What? You took my tablet? We're doomed. Doomed! Now, if you share your override code with our tech expert, now do we do this the easy way or the hard way? I can't give you the code. It's my only chance to have Sombra reach out to me. Sombra? How do you even know that name? The name kept coming up in Natasha's files. I figured they were important. Ranger Matthew, you've got to understand. Cosmos was ignoring my projects. They didn't care about space travel anymore. My talent was wasting away. So I started to go through Natasha's files. I wanted to find something to blackmail her with, to force her to fund my projects. The name Sombra kept showing up. I know they're the ones who wanted to launch that satellite. If I hack into it, they'll have to do what I want. They'll have to fund my projects. No, you're going to do what Ranger Matthew wants and take over that satellite to stop Sombra. You're coming with us. And let's speed up the smartphone. Matthew, I unlocked my mother's phone. Her unlocked screen is a picture of me as a student. Didn't think she was so sentimental. I found a cryptic text message from a blocked number. Hiding the egg until sunrise. And it's timestamped just after the launch. I'm sorry, did I hear you talk about an egg? The observation deck at the Beitarek Tower is supposed to be an egg. The deck symbolizes the golden egg that the magic bird of happiness, Samruk, laid in the mythical tree of life. So you're saying that someone told my mother to hide in the observation deck at Beitarek Tower? We've got her this time. Let's go, Matthew. Matthew, can you see my mother anywhere? Matthew, Marina, I haven't found Natasha yet, but look who's still here. Anya Ivanova. Big deal. You're supposed to be looking for my traitor of a mother. I was, but then I thought we could use another pair of eyes. And you might need some backup. Maybe the MGB and the Bureau can work together to bring Miss Romanova to justice. What do you say, Matthew? We could use some help. Fine, as long as I'm the one who gets to arrest my mother. But first, tell us what you've seen, Anya. Keep an eye out for Natasha Romanova. So, Anya, has there been any suspicious activity around Beitarek Tower? I saw a woman with red hair and a bob haircut not long ago. She was in a hurry. She would be. What clothes is she wearing? A green suit. I remember thinking how odd it was for such a well-dressed woman to be looking in a garbage can. That has to be my mother. And she was digging through a garbage can? Did she find anything in it? No, that was when she really started to panic. So my mother's looking for something really important near Beitarek Tower. We better find it before she does, Matthew. Well, I'd be happy to keep watch around Beitarek Tower as long as we can grab a burger first. I decided to go back to the Dalmatian for this. Not to mention the fact that I already have 9910 of clubs. Ooh. Then again, it doesn't really matter. I already have a high score here. See, I'm already ranked number 1. You found a metal briefcase? This could be what my mother's looking for. Have a look through it, quick! I know that this will take a while because I'm using a laptop for this. I know I gotta find a mouse or something to make things a lot easier on me. Aha! A Sombra note. There was a note in that briefcase, Matthew? It has to be for my mother. That confirms it then. That briefcase was intended for my mother, to help her escape. It's a go kit. Can I see the note, Matthew? The Russian translates to, "So long and thanks for all the fish?" Matthew, this isn't a go kit. This is a goodbye kit. Sombra wasn't trying to help my mother escape. They're dumping her. Where is that briefcase? Mother, don't move. Ranger Matthew, I can explain. Yeah, you better tell Ranger Matthew everything you know right this instant. Now let's confront Natasha. Time to settle this once and for all. Marishka, put down the gun. I'm your mother. And you just committed a crime against the entire planet. I can't believe that you launched Sombra's satellite. I'll never understand you. What possible reason could you have to give power over the world to such an evil organization? You're the psychologist, Marishka. Can't you guess? I wanted power. Sombra promised me all of Russia if I launched the satellite. When the current government fell, I would step in and take over. Ha! That's what you think. When we went through your go kit, we found a little goodbye note from Sombra. They were hanging you out to dry. What? That can't be. What did the message say? So long and thanks for all the fish. I always knew that your pathological hubris would get the better of you one day. How can you laugh, Marishka? That note is Sombra code. I'm a loose end. They'll kill me. I need protection. Don't worry, Mamushka. Ranger Matthew will protect you by placing you under arrest, and we're confiscating this filthy Sombra money as evidence. Well, isn't this something? A double trial. Haven't had one of these since the old days. Yelena Tereshkova, you are charged with murdering Russian Senator Vitaly Borodin with a laser torch. It was Natasha. She tricked me into doing it. But you're the one who committed the crime. And Yelena didn't complete the mission. I told her to kill him and then launch the rocket. All because that Dura can't rub 2 brain cells together. I had to find a way to go back and launch the rocket with a murder investigation going on. Which brings us to you, Natasha Romanova. I'll take what you just said as a plea of guilty for launching a satellite that would hand control of the world to a criminal organization. Natasha Romanova, you betrayed the trust of the Bureau, the Russian people, and, well, the entire world. So I'll give you 75 years in a maximum security facility. You won't get away with this. I have friends in high places. So do I. Moving on. Yelena Tereshkova, in light of your selfish act of murder, this international court sentences you to 50 years in prison. Oh no. Now I never go to space. Elliot, how close are you to overriding the satellite? Just about to finish compiling the code. My only moment of glory and no one will ever know. Here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're in, Matthew. The Bureau has taken over Sombra Satellite. Well, Ranger Matthew, you've done it again. I don't know how we could have managed to put Yelena and Natasha behind bars and take over Sombra Satellite without you. With the satellite under our control, the Bureau has a new tool to use in its hunt for crime. Whenever and wherever Sombra resurfaces, the satellite will help us find them before they can strike again. I like to see Sombra bounce back from that. Matthew, everybody, I just put the finishing touches on the very last Matryoshka. Here we go. See, it's you, Jack. But I'm tiny. Because you're the baby of the bunch, our youngest field agent. Great, I feel so loved, I guess. Matthew, something's come up. We need all our field agents on hand, both young and old. What do you mean, Ingrid? What's going on? The satellite has just detected a major earthquake near New Delhi. Our help is needed. Ranger Matthew, it's time for you to see another facet of the Bureau. Chasing criminal organizations isn't the only way we keep the peace. We're catching the next red eye to India. Well, I think that'll make 17 cases I've done in Elite Mode. Good way to pass the time while we wait for the next case to load up. But of course, the case that's case 25 in the World Edition is already up, and I'm doing that also. But I wanted to do a case in the World Edition Elite Mode, just so I can prove that I'm not going to go back just to Grimsboro and Pacific Bay. Okay, that will do for now. I'll get this up as soon as I can, so for now, this is Matthew. See you then.